Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of The Conversation. I'm your host, Stefania Jimenez, and I'm so excited to talk about this particular subject today, which is about stomach cancer, something that you don't often hear about because it's simply not as common as other cancers. The American Cancer Society says that stomach cancer accounts for 1.5% of all new cancers in the US every year. Now, here's the thing. Stomach cancer rates have decreased in the US. However, that has not been the case for Blacks, Asian Americans, and Hispanics. And one example of that is our guest here, Yolanda Barrera Day. And I'm so happy that you're here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, in full disclosure, we met a few months ago. We did a story about stomach cancer, and I loved your vibe, and I love what you're doing now that you are a survivor. So let's go all the way back and tell people your story. When were you diagnosed?
In 2021, I was diagnosed middle of the summer after going through a series of tests because I was feeling fatigued more than normal, and they didn't know why. Anyway, at the end of the day, after a series of tests, hospitalization, it was determined that I had a tumor, a bleeding tumor, and it was cancerous. And so that was in summer 2021. And by December, I had undergone chemo, radiation, and my stomach was removed, and my whole life was changed.
You know, you just described all of that in a really short amount of time because it seems like it was a blur to you when you were diagnosed. And right now, but they had to do an operation on you, so you don't have a stomach.
Right, which presents its own little set of challenges, but nothing that can't be overcome.
Right, and there is. What's amazing to me is that you have been cancer-free for how long?
4.5 years.
4.5 years. And in that time, you have become an advocate for other people who suffer from stomach cancer. You have lobbied to make sure that we get research money into this cancer. And you're also planning an event to raise awareness about stomach cancer. And that's happening later on this fall. We're going to get to that event in a moment, but we're going to just take 2 minutes for a quick break, and then we'll see you right back here. Welcome back to The Conversation. We continue our conversation right now with the lovely Yolanda Barrera Day, who's here to tell us about her journey with stomach cancer. You're a survivor, of course, which we're so excited about. But now we want to go back and talk about the process, because the issue is that when it comes to stomach cancer, not a lot of people are familiar with the symptoms. So what was your experience with that?
So as mentioned earlier, I was feeling tired, but I'm a little older than I was, and I was a lot more overweight. So I attribute it to that. So that's one thing that we try to bring awareness to the community, that if you're feeling anything that's different from the norm, check it out. Don't dismiss it.
No matter what.
No matter what. So I, for a while, thought, I'm just getting older and I am overweight, but I knew something was wrong. So I had to be my own advocate to tell the doctors, you need to check this out. You need to check this out. And they tested my heart. They gave me EKGs. They did all this stuff. And they said, there's nothing wrong with your heart. You're fine.
Oh,
and I'm like, no, but you don't understand. When I bend over, I can't hardly bend over. I used to be able to bend over. I love to dance. My husband and I love to dance. And I can't even make it through one song. That's not right. Something's wrong. So you have to be your own advocate, and you have to push them to look further and deeper. And they finally did continue to do tests. And one test showed that my red blood cells were very low. And they said, oh, well, you have to come in and get a blood transfusion. And I'm like, what? You just told me there was nothing wrong with me. They said, no, you immediately come in and get a blood transfusion. I was hospitalized again, more tests. 4 days later, they couldn't find anything. But there was this hematologist, a little lady, Dr. Couch, who came and sat beside me one night, and she said, look, we can't find anything wrong with you, but you're bleeding somewhere because your red blood count is low. So you need to go to a gastroenterologist, and he needs to go check you out, and you need to do it right away. Well, it was the middle of COVID, and I'm like, they're not going to see me right now. There's no such thing as right away. She says, oh yeah, they will. She pulled out her phone, and she made a call, and she said, he'll see you next week. I went in, got an endoscopy, and it was a bleeding tumor.
You know what's remarkable about this, that I think a lot of people don't, when they hear, oh, you're fine from a doctor, they think, oh, Thank goodness. But most of us know when
Yeah.
something is
Right.
wrong. We know our bodies. And
Right.
so it's really up to all of us. And that's why I wanted to have you here today, because this isn't simply just about stomach cancer. It's about health overall. When you know something is off, go to your
Get an
doctor.
advocate.
And if you have to insist on getting different tests, do it.
Right, exactly. And another thing, in my case, it was fatigue, right? That kind of alerted me. It was a red flag. But a lot of people that I know that I've met through this
Mhm.
organization and through my efforts to bring awareness to the community is they have reflux. Well, how many people do you know that say, I just have reflux? I ate something bad. Oh gosh, I must have eaten something bad. No, reflux is a thing for stomach cancer. If it's continuous, if it's bad, if it's so bad that you can't sleep, but you can't eat a regular meal without getting sick, check it out. Don't just attribute it to everybody has reflux, that's what it is. So anything like upset stomach, reflux, fatigue, anything to your point that's out of the ordinary, get it checked out.
Was there any family history?
No, it took us by surprise. Now, I did have, after we had the endoscopy and we had all these tests done, after it was determined I had cancer, that I have a bacteria called H. pylori. Now, a lot of us have that, but not all of them will give you cancer. But many stomach cancer patients have had H. pylori. So if you have some stomach issues, some digestive issues, reflux, whatever, ask your doctor, is that something that you can test me for? H. pylori is a thing for stomach cancer.
Yeah, I
but who would
remember
have known that?
we covered that when I
Yeah.
interviewed you a few months ago, because
Yeah.
it is pretty common when I
Yeah.
started researching that.
But that's the sad part is the symptoms when they're so common and they can just be mistaken for
Anything.
just and that people wait too long to get it checked, and by then it's too late.
What stage were you?
I was stage 2.
You were stage 2.
But many patients are stage 4 by the time they recognize that it's cancer. And then oftentimes it's too late.
Yeah.
So it's already too advanced to do anything. So, I mean, there's a lot of research. I'm part of the organization called Debbie's Dream, where we fund it. We raise money to get research done in order to identify these problems early on, but we're not there yet.
So tell us about Debbie's Dream.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful organization. They were there for me when I was going through my journey, when I didn't know what to expect. And I was at a loss, and I was really unbelieving that it was happening to me, but they were there. They have mentors, they have resources, they have, you can pick up the phone and just say, I just had my stomach taken out and I don't know what to eat, help me. I mean, they send you cookbooks, they have symposiums, and now I'm a part of that. So as soon as I had my surgery, I said, I want to be a mentor, and I told my mentees, I don't know what I'm doing because I just had surgery, but I want to help you. I just want to share my story. If anything that I have gone through can help you, I want to do it. So I became a mentor and then an advocate, going to DC to advocate for more funding for research. And now I'm on their board of directors to just help in any way I can to spread the message and be there for others.
I'm curious, now that you're working with so many people who are unfortunately battling this disease, what are they telling you?
While they're going through it, it's a very tough.
I imagine it's
journey.
Painful.
It's painful
because you can't eat. There are a lot of things you cannot eat,
and it's different for everyone.
Sure.
Everyone has their own journey. Some people can't eat at all. Some people can only eat a little bit of food. Some people have trouble drinking. I myself, I'm blessed that I'm a survivor, but in the last year, I've started developing swallowing issues because at the juncture where they connect your esophagus to your intestine, there's some issues.
Right.
So there may be problems while you're going through the journey, different for everybody. Eating problems, pain problems, and then afterward there are too. And that's why we were so blessed to be part of the study with Avanzando Camino.
Yeah, that's another thing. Avanzando Caminos is a study. I just want to take a moment and let people know what that is. UT Health San Antonio, Dr. Amelie Ramirez, who is wonderful, is one of the leading researchers for this study. And basically what they're looking at is the fact that we don't understand exactly how certain treatments or affect certain ethnicities. So there's not a lot of information about Latinos and how they're affected when they're going through cancer treatment. So what do they need? And so what they're looking for is different cancer survivors who can give them information so that they're then able to use that information to help people who are undergoing treatment in the future.
And afterward too.
Yes.
And afterward, because we need help afterward as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because
Yeah.
the journey is not over.
That's right. Yeah.
You live now without a stomach.
Yeah.
What is that like?
It's sometimes it's tough. I have to watch what I eat, how much I eat, when I eat. If I'm going somewhere in the morning, I probably don't eat or I don't drink anything.
Because you're afraid of how it could impact you?
Yes, exactly. I never know how I'm going to tolerate food or liquids. So it's always safer to stay close to home after I eat. I can eat pretty much anything I want, but like I said, this last year I've developed some trouble swallowing, so it has to be soft foods, something that won't get stuck as easily. So there's some issues with digestion and with ingestion as well. So it's challenging, but compared to other people who are still undergoing treatment, it's doable. It's doable. I just have to figure out how to do it.
Oh, geez.
And stick with it. So,
and if you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
I'm 65.
Okay, 65
Yeah.
and looking good. All right. So I want you to stay right here because after the break, we're going to go over an event that you have coming up that I want people to know about so that you can learn more about stomach cancer and also raise awareness about this disease. That event and the information on that is coming up right after the break. Stay right where you are. Thank you for staying with the conversation. We're going to wrap things up with this discussion about stomach cancer, although there's so much to learn about this. But I wanted to let people know about an event that Yolanda has that she's organizing this November. Tell us about the event.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Myself and Kelly Brown and Joan George, there's three of us are survivors. We all participate and are involved with Debbie's Dream Foundation. We are coordinating a 5K run, 1 mile walk. It'll be on November 8th at the Green Line Park. This is the first time we're going to do the walk or a run like this. We have others in the organization that are doing it at the same time around November in their respective states. But we're real excited about it. And I tell you, I've done 2 fundraisers, awareness events in the past 2 years, but this one is getting so much excitement. I have run groups that are interested in participating, and a lot of people are really interested in walking or running. So I'm excited.
Let's say someone can't go, but they want to support the organization. How do they do that?
So on our registration page, you can register to either walk or run or just donate. So we will have a way for them to do that. Whether you're in town or out of town, there'll be a way to donate and to help. We also have sponsors, a sponsor list that we will be sharing. So the companies that just want to sponsor us, which we welcome, they'll be able to do that. So.
And this is about when you talk about raising awareness, it's funds for research and also helping a lot of the people who are undergoing.
Absolutely. Especially, this last year that we went on Capitol Hill, I can't tell you how many stage 4 patients were there with us. Some in wheelchairs, some with their IVs, but they were there and we helped them get there because financially, the medical bills just, it's hard for them with their medical bills. So Debbie's Dream Foundation takes some of the funds. We bring them there if they want to help advocate, and they do. And they go to Capitol Hill and they say, some of them, a young lady this year said, I won't be here next year. I know this, but I'm here for those that are going to get what I have, and I want you to help them. So it's just, it's touching, but those funds are used for that, for research, for our patients, to give our patients the resources they need to help them through their journey and after their journey.
So let's bring this up on the screen, because if you go on facebook.com and you put in gut check for stomach cancer, which is what the walk or the event is called, that's the flyer that's going to pop up. So I want everybody to familiarize themselves with that flyer because that's what we want you to see. And if we can go to the next slide, and give people the exact information about this event. It's Saturday, November 8th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Greenline Park, which you mentioned, at 2532 Sydney Brooks. And again, it's a 5K run, 1 mile walk. And I would assume that if you can't run,
you can walk.
You can just
absolutely,
do
or just sit there and watch.
So I'll let you have the last word because you've been so gracious with us sharing your time. What do you want to leave people with?
I want everyone to know that stomach cancer is one of the top deadliest cancers around. So it's a real thing. Pay attention to your symptoms. Pay attention to how you're feeling. Be an advocate and help support us by raising awareness in the community. We want everyone to know about this so that way they can take care of it in time. Should it happen to them.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll never happen to you.
Not.
But if it does,
then you'll
know
prepared.
what to do and you'll catch it early.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Yolanda Barrera Day, thank you so much
for
being with us here today. Yeah. And thank you for joining us for this episode of The Conversation. We'll see you next time.